Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for a new show. It's Sunday, it is the KyoAni slot, and for the last week or so I've been running a poll for various Kyoto animation shows that I haven't seen and want to react to because I said I would and that's what I'm gonna do. So it was nowhere near close. I expected it to be a lot closer, but winning the poll by I think a margin of like 40 or 50 votes. I haven't checked it in the last couple hours, so I don't remember. By about 40 or 50 votes, so pretty strong, solid win. Was Hyouka, a show that of the KyoAni shows is one of the ones that I know the least about. Like, if we were going into Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, I would have a little bit of a better idea what to expect. Hyouka, not so much. And given that, I've decided that I just want to avoid, like, any information about the show until it maybe wins the poll, and now that it's won the poll, that kind of pays off. So I haven't even read, like, the synopsis on Mal. I think I've read the first line of it. So I think I know the main character's name is Oreski. No, that's a different show. Oreki or something like that. And he doesn't like putting in lots of effort. That's all I know about the show. I also know some things about the people who worked on it, and we'll get to that in a minute because there are some things that I want to talk about there. As well as that this is listed as mystery, slice of life, and school. Okay, cool. That's a very different different angle of attack than most KyoAni shows that I've seen, so I'm interested in seeing how it plays out, and what kind of mystery specifically we're talking about here. Like, are we talking murder mysteries, or dark stuff, or less dark stuff, and more like just intriguing things that are happening around school? Don't know. In total, I believe there are 22 episodes of this show. Cool, nice solid runtime. And yeah, I think at this point we should turn our attention to some of the people who worked on this. And I want to set this apart a little bit from other times when I talk about staff because there are a large number of individuals responsible for this show's creation who are no longer with us. There are a number of people who are instrumental in its creation who died, who passed away in the arson attack against Kyoto Animation not too long ago. So that adds a bit of a somber tone to this watch because there won't ever be more of it, and even if there were ever more of it, and there is, I believe, more material written for the light novels, if there's ever more, it won't be by the same people. So let's go through some of the facts and things about who worked on this show and where it's coming from. It is a light novel by one Honobu Yonezawa, who is mostly known for it and the apparently related series koten-bu, which I've never heard of until I went and looked him up. But light novel by him, adaptation by Kyoto Animation, of course, and script and series composition, which is sort of the next thing that I look at when we're looking at the writing credits, is by Shoji Gato, the original creator of all of Full Metal Panic, as well as the story writer for Amagi Brilliant Park, another KyoAni show. Full Metal Panic, I believe, is the first Kyoto Animation show that I ever interfaced with on any level, starting with Fumofu and Second Raid. I'm not sure which order I watched those two in, just no idea. In any case, that was one of like my first exposures to the KyoAni style. And yeah, script and series composition by Shoji. Interesting. The director is one Yasuhiro Takemoto, who is no longer with us, so may he rest in peace. His solo directorial debut was Full Metal Panic Fumofu, and then followed that up with Second Raid. Fumofu being one of the first like serious anime comedies that I really got that I really got into. So I would say, like, without knowing it, Takemoto's work was like key to my getting invested in anime. So thank you to him for that. Also, the director of Amagi Brilliant Park, Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, another thing that came close on the poll, and episodes 5 and onward of Lucky Star, as well as being well known for directing the Haruhi Suzumiya film, which is a pretty fucking close to a masterpiece, frankly. So wide range of really interesting shows, a lot of Kyoto Animation shows, a lot of comedies by KyoAni. This show doesn't strike me as a comedy. It doesn't seem to be leaning in that direction. I'm sure that there will be funny elements, but it'll be interesting to see how Takemoto was working on what seems to be a more serious driven show, but I don't really know. color designer. I've been gaining a lot of respect for good color design, and generally, Kyoto Animation has some of the best color design and color choices of any studio. Full stop. Um, yeah. Uh, Color design by Naomi Ishida, who is a name you might recognize for doing the same role, color design for all of Haruhi Suzumiya, which has an interesting palette that ranges from relatively muted and realistic to with like interesting splashes of color, as well as the color design on Liz and the Bluebird, which I watched a couple weeks ago and is absolutely jaw dropping in the color design department, and the design for A Silent Voice, which I have not seen yet and will probably be coming up at some point for a. I'm gonna be, after Legend of the Galactic Heroes is done, I'm gonna be converting Monday to like a movie and OVA Monday, where we'll just watch movies on Mondays, or OVAs. And I think the focus of it is going to be on like classic OVAs, but there's a lot of clamoring and a lot of people want me to watch Silent Voice, so I'll probably watch that at some point. But haven't seen it, have heard amazing things, have seen some stuff from it. Again, fantastic color design. So I'm expecting that to carry through into Hyouka. The character design as well is by one Futoshi Nishiya, who is also no longer with us. You see a theme here. Also did the character designs, the very well recognized character designs for Nichijou, as well as Liz and the Bluebird, which has character designs that carried over from Hibike, with slight changes in Nozomi and Mizore, but also some fantastic new character designs in Liz and the Bluebird themselves in that film, which are some of the most beautiful characters that I think I've ever seen. So that's interesting. As well as the same role on Silent Voice, again haven't seen, and Free, again haven't seen. So those are the main staff that I looked at, and are in a large part what I would consider a core staff. Besides going through like animation directors and key animators. I think that those are roles that have a much bigger impact on the nature and feel of a show than any other. Director, color design, and character design. Given that the color is so important in a visual medium, the director is pulling everything together and laying out what they want this to be. And the character design, characters are our window to their world, and being able to understand and interface with them on like a deep visceral level just because of the way that they look is critical. So these three critical roles, crap, these three critical roles in the production are all people who are lost to us and are not coming back. So I just wanted to mention that because I think it's important. I don't know. Also, on a less somber note, a couple of voice actresses that are recognizable to me. One of the main girls seems to be by Satomi Sato, who I will recognize most likely as Ritsu from K-On!, and apparently also did, I think, young Tanjiro from Kimetsu. Neat. I love Ritsu's voice acting, so should like that. And the other main girl is Ai Kayano, who is Akari from Sangatsu no Lion, one of my favorite female voice acting performances, full stop, as well as being Kana-chan from Chihayafuru, which I'm watching on the same day, which is kind of weird and kind of cool, so we'll see what differences we see there. As well as being Darkness from Konosuba and Shiro from No Game No Life and Teruhashi from Saiki Kusuo no Sainan. All of which are great characters and demonstrate a significant range in performance ability and like kinds of performances. I mean, you look at Akari and think about who she is and how that's expressed in her voice acting as a character. And then you look at Darkness, and it's a big gap. It's a big divide there. So a very talented voice actress, and I can't wait to see what her role is. I didn't even write down the names of the girls that these are playing, so we'll see if I can recognize them as we go. Okay, that's all the stuff I wanted to get through here at the beginning, housekeeping wise. I will mention that the version that I have downloaded at the moment, this is not saying that I'm sticking with it or anything like that. I don't know if it's the best version available. It is just the version that has English subs, that had the most seeds on Ya, and wasn't 6 gigabytes for a 22 episode series, which would mean that it's in Havoc 265, which would mean it's probably compressed. I've grabbed the Cole Girls Blu-ray disc rip. I hope that that's a good idea. If there is a better sub provider out there, let me know in the comments. Let me know immediately. I'm sure that the Discord will jump on that and let me know ASAP. But Cole Girls is generally reliable and generally pretty okay. Episode lengths seem to range from 25 to 28 minutes, mostly around the 25 or 27 mark, which is a little bit different than usual. Normally, we look at shows that are around 22 to 25 minutes, so that's a little bit interesting. I don't know if that means that there were less ad breaks during these episodes or what it means, but interesting thing to point out. And I've got it. Okay, that's all I want to talk about. And I want to go ahead and jump on into this show proper. So let's go ahead and do that. I don't know how many episodes I'm going to watch in this reaction video. Often with new series, especially KyoAni series, where there's a lot to look at initially in the way that things are set up and the way that things are designed. Often I like to do just the first episode. So if this ends up being like an hour-long recording for just the first episode, which is quite possible, then we will do just the first episode, and then we will probably end up doing about 2 episodes per reaction, just because that ends up being a nice middle ground between like getting through shows relatively quickly and having the time and energy to actually talk about them. But again, we'll see. So, all of that having been said, let us go ahead and dive into this very well regarded, but not as well seen as certain other ones, Kyoto Animation School, high school show thing. Yay! All right, so I've got the first episode up and ready to go. It is at 0 seconds. There will be, I should mention Patreon and stuff. I should do that because I don't do that often, and I might as well do that at the beginning of a series because it makes sense to do it at the beginning of the series so that you know. With all my series that I'm watching that have already aired, I run them on like a weekly cycle. So they go up on Patreon on the day, and then a week later they go up on YouTube on that same day. And then within 24 hours of the episode going up on YouTube or the reaction going up on YouTube, the next one will go up for patrons. So if you want to get the next reaction a little bit early, you can totally do that. Just head over to patreon.com/Teeaboo, and that's where you go for that thing. Also, Discord access. There's a community Discord if you want in on it. That is a patron thing, and it's a kind of a lovely place. So yeah, cool. Do that if you want it. And thank you to those of you who are supporting me on Patreon. I love you. Yeah. Let's go ahead and dive on into first episode of Hyouka. I've got the first episode up and ready to go. It is at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction video. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description. Watch it. It will not have discussion at the end. The discussion will only be on the timer-based version, which will be up on YouTube. If you want to sync up your own copy of the episode with the timer-based version on YouTube, that's what the timer is there for, so you're more than welcome to do so. Just get your copy ready because there will be a beep beep timer, which will go boop 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 beep, and on the beep and the green light will be the exact same frame that the video starts playing on my screen, so if you're playing along on your screen, that's probably when you want to do that. Yeah, just get yours ready because that timer's coming at ya. Sure. Dark, glum. Okay. Okay. Really lively stuff going on in the backgrounds. Like you, I'm guessing. Though I'm gonna say I doubt you're gonna get there. Hmm. Less complicated eyes than Hibike. but still very expressive. Okay. Okay. Relatable. Hmm. Mm-hmm. 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 Classics. Club. Sister Travels. Okay. She was a former member. Hmm. Hmm. Any members? That sounds pretty dope. In and out. Don't think it's superior. Don't look down on them. You just want that. Okay. Nuance. Huh. Is that CG? Must have been. Who? Who dat? What the? That's way too pretty and smooth. Wonder what frame rate that's at. We'll find it eventually. And instantly an interesting. Huh. She's got these very round eyes. His are much narrower. That's part of that character design stuff I'm talking about. His eyes are more rectangular. Hers are more round. Makes her seem much more approachable. Lots of characters running in and out. Interesting angles and decisions. Mm-hmm. Eidetic memory and careful steps. uh, okay. There, that was loaded. I think you're stuck now. I don't think you can get away. Ooh, angle. Nope. Checked it out. She was already in here, yeah. Is she a ghost? Is she a real girl? I don't know. Didn't we saw what? What? Oh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Round. Almondish. Unfazed. Okay, so she's a real girl. And well known. Hmm. 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 That felt really important. Shit. Slight blush. I'm still gonna go with the guess at an eidetic memory. Is this the first mystery? Key required, eh? Hmm. The janitor with the ladder. Oh, pulling him in. What a fucking scene. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, she's pretty much the cutest. I'm just a database? And he's our Sherlock. He's got a master key or a ring. Yep. Sa te to. Hmm. 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 Welp. Yep. Hey. Hmm. 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 Fight on. Her. Hmm. Is that the end? It's not the end, right? Okay, no, we're in the midpoint. Okay, I was like, that's way too early. And our first mystery solved. Ghost story? That's nice and spooky. It's probably just a person. Why is that so high quality? Ah. Hmm. 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 What's your game, buddy? These shots are amazing. No, they're just drowning. Hmm. It's the same. Just like that. Hmm. Or did he plant it? In order to reduce his total effort. That's a good line. Motherfucker. That's so perfect. Yeah. Oh, this guy. This guy. It sounds like an excuse. Hmm. He'd be lying, wouldn't he? She had an effect on him. That's the problem, isn't it? Hmm. He took a pretty roundabout method. Hmm. Piece of time. Is that a donut? No, it's a bed. Oh. Otto. Hmm. Oh. Mm. And we'll meet other girl. Okay. And end. Okay. Conserving energy, classes club, sister. I'm just going through my notes. Conserving energy, classes club, sister travels, join to keep alive. Wait, what? Yeah, to keep the club alive. Frame rate, question mark, question mark, question mark. Chitanda Eru, eidetic memory, question mark. I have personal reasons with a big box around it, and I just drew another box around it because that seemed like there was something there that she's not telling us, but okay. Is she a ghost? Question mark, question mark. No. Next to it. Nope. Janitor with ladder. Check. Um, I'm just a database. Interesting. Gleam of green, referring to the eyes, and then a bunch of shitty scribbles of shapes of eyes. So let's start with the eyes. Let's start there. I think that's a good place to start. Character design. Character design be important, yo. Extremely important. I want to talk about what is apparent about these characters simply from the shape of their eyes, and to an extent, the color of his eyes. So I think that his eyes are probably his most striking feature. All around, our introduction to this character is dark, glum, and more deeply shaded than the other blacks in the scene. It actually reminds me of certain sequences in Sangatsu no Lion in the very beginning of the show, where Rei is a more, it's not saturation when it's black, but he's a I don't remember what the word is. We'll go with it because that makes sense. He's a more saturated black than any of the other blacks in the scene. We can assume that the uniform that he's wearing is the same color as the uniform of these people in the background, and yet his is much darker. Why is that? It's to make him stand out. It's because we need to know who we are following. But there's also this shadow over all of him that grays him out and desaturates the majority of his skin and hair and his bag and everything about him. He is gray. He is gloomy immediately, and there is brightness and flower petals and sakura and gorgeousness all around him, and it does not affect him or encroach upon his like cone of shadow that he just emanates. But throughout this entire sequence, we miss and are intentionally not shown one very important part of his character, the part that we relate to most in any character in any show, and that is his eyes. His hair covers them. The darkness, the gloom, and the shadow covers him. It's no accident that once we turn our attention to him directly, the first thing that we see are the eyes, because they are striking and bright, brilliant green, and very, very different from the rest of his color. And here we see him actually lit without that shadow over him as he's talking to his friend. This being seemingly the one friend and one major interaction that he actually has, and he brightens up a little bit during it. There's also a slight greenish tint in his hair, making his entire aesthetic sort of pull together as slightly greenish. It's also coming from the light outside, which is rather yellowy green, but you get the point, right? Other thing to notice is that the eyes have less complicated stuff in them than, say, those eyes of Hibike Euphonium characters, which have more elements in them. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you look at any of the characters from Hibike, they always have a specific, distinctly colored dot or series of dots in their eyes that are used by the animators to help express. Coming up with the design of a character's eyes, I think, is absolutely crucial because that is part of the palette that you have to deal with in order to express subtle emotions. And the eyes here are less detailed, but still have a number of layers. We've got the darkness of the iris itself, and of course the sclera, which is a lot less important. Darkness of the iris itself, this sort of half moon classic underneath. There's a dark line underneath as that iris, as that half moon connects to the pupil itself. Dots for actual light reflections, and then this sort of circle of slightly lighter light in the middle here. Comes across as a pretty believable like interpretation of an eye, and there are other little details around here, like the little fuzziness of the lower eyelashes, which are less visible, and then the thickness of the upper ones. And then we can talk about eye shape. So his eyes are a flat, like very slightly curved line on the top, and then sort of a half almond at the bottom, coming to almost a point. They also they come across as almost rectangular. in certain other scenes, because that's just their like base shape. And then his actual irises are about half obscured by this. His upper lids are down really far, and you can see the lines that distinguish his ocular sockets up here, where his eyelids come together right there. Um, this gives a very half-lidded, I can't even really do it, but a very half-lidded feel to the way that he's looking at you, right? Just because of how little of his iris is visible. Comparatively. And when I say comparatively, I mean let's turn our attention to the next character that we meet, who is his good old friendo, whose eyes I don't think we see here until now. Okay, then we see them. We can see that his iris is almost completely visible. Let's find a slightly closer up shot. I know that there is one. Yeah, there we go. That'll be perfect. His iris is almost entirely visible, just barely touching on the bottom. His eyes are open, nice open and wide, but they're still wider horizontally than they are tall, although almost equal, almost circular. He's a little bit brighter, a little bit more, I don't know, less glum, less droopy lidded. Interesting. They're also a casual, deepish, brownish, tannish, orangish color, which makes him kind of relatable, and like he's just that dude, and he seems to be just that dude. He's that cool guy. He does say some things that's like, "I'm just a database." Intrigued by that statement. Not sure what to think about it in regards to other things of his character that we've seen so far, but goofy, more normal friend. Okay. And then our third major set of eyes in the episode are the place where things really come together because they are so distinct and so definitely different from either of the characters that we've met so far, and they are her eyes. Her eyes are taller than they are wide. Okay? She is open-eyed all the time. She also has these huge irises that fill up the entirety of that space, which are bright, vibrant purple, but she is wide-eyed, very literally, in like literally and figuratively. Big, like, feminine lashes and underneath as well, again with the detail, but it's the wideness of her eyes that is so interesting, especially because of the one major character trait that we have of Chitanda Eru so far, which is that she is curious and endlessly curious. And then we immediately go ahead and flash between their eyes in a wide here, right? Or I guess this is still a super close up. Super close up, her eyes. Super close up, his eyes. You can see the difference a big time. But his eyes are slightly more open than they were before. Interesting. And then reflections in each other's eyes. Hers, his. Instantly, there is a lot of connection built in that moment of eye contact. It's huge. And we can see that also her eyes are placed a little, her irises are placed a little bit higher. Uh, so there's a little bit of sclera right there on the bottom that's visible. Ooh, wow. Okay, I wanted to point that out because it was probably the most striking designed thing in this episode, was just what do we know about these characters solely from their expressions and their eyes. He also wears an almost constant half frown. Not like not angry or anything, just sort of going through life relatively glumly, like very much exactly what he says, which is conserving energy. Okay, I want to see this scene here where we get this turn. Yeah, I want to. Yep, it's at 24. That's what I thought. So normally, I mean, you probably know this, but normally animation is at 12, is on ones. This is on threes. Yeah, on threes. Find any other random part. On ones, and then bits of twos. On threes. Wow, okay. Yeah, there's a wide variation. But this specific sequence, which is so important to the episode, is entirely on ones, I believe. And I think the entire walking scene is as well. This is a really good decision for a lot of reasons. One is we've got this gorgeous environment that he's walking through, which I believe is rendered in CG with some of the most amazing textures that I've seen. And it's relatively easy comparatively to animate the camera moving through that, or his perspective moving through that on ones. Like so. And it's gorgeous. It really is. And then he's moving in on one. No, he's moving on twos. But everything with her in it gives this incredible smoothness, this slow-mo, like time is slowing down as he sees her there. And then as she turns. The movement of her hair as she turns her head, the shadows on her face as she turns her head. There's so much effort put into this one scene. It's fantastic. And it's crucial because this is the spark moment, right? This is the moment when our essentially our two main characters meet each other, I think, right? So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of emphasis put on it. For sure. Okay, OP has lots of interesting things in it, but I'm gonna skip it because I'm gonna skip it. There's a lot of other stuff to get through. Okay. Yep, back to twos. More normal. Good afternoon. Yeah. Super friendly, gigantic eyes, very expressive. All of the characters very expressive, but in very, very different ways. And that's interesting and unique. Okay. Other things that stand out about this episode: constant use of more difficult shots for like no reason, just because we can, because KyoAni, yeah, because KyoAni. 70 to 80% of any other studios would shoot all of these flat. I mean, there's some shot reverse shot here, but the number of times that we forego shot reverse shot or simple shots in order to get big shots of the entire room, like this one from odd angles, like up above in the corner, feels very much Kyoto Animation's like one of their trademarks, one of the hallmarks of the stuff that they make. Like K-On! Is made much better by shots like this. It made more interesting visually by shots like this. They express things. They express interesting things. All right, and then she pushes him. She's like invading his space to an extent here as well. Yeah. First by pulling him back, and then they're both small, and then yeah. He's far off to the right side of the frame. She's taking up the center of the frame and then moves closer into it, and he shrinks back. There's a lot going on here. Then we notice our friendo, who is around, and there's another great shot of his eyes in a less detailed setting. Just like, yeah, fun. But not huge irises taking up the entirety of his eyes the way that hers are. But rounder, wider than they are tall. Yeah. Hers, though, are taller than they are wide, almost always. And they arc in a different way. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay, so he comes up with these things with the names, and apparently that's just bullshit, because he's a bullshitter. And then watching her be cute is really cute, because she's really cute. And then we begin our mystery. How is the door locked? We've already got the answer. We saw the guy with the ladder when what's his face is coming up the stairs. There. Yep. So all of these scenes that don't really mean anything as he's grabbing the key, writing his name down, are actually establishing the parameters of the mystery for us, because they will become relevant soon. And that's why there's so much emphasis on this crossing of paths directly in the center of the frame, so that we notice the janitor or maintenance guy. Calling him a janitor is incorrect and maybe mean. I don't know. There are also lots of interesting objects and things throughout this room. It's kind of cool. Really interesting setup for a club room. Okay, moving on. That Chitanda, yes, absolutely. And here we go. And then we have our biggest Saga cut in the episode, which is the first time that she's going to say, "I'm curious." Grabs his hand. The hand animation is also fantastic. I probably didn't need to say that, but it is, again, invading his space. And then things get a little blurry, as though they're reanimating like every frame twice. As she looms in, taking over the frame, pushing in. And he gets kind of lost in her eyes for this moment. And then her hair sweeps out and entangles him on ones, ethereally, with these kind of after images after it. And the colored line work with the dark blue. Grabbing him and lifting him off of his feet. Twining around everything else and then bursting these green flowers out. The world becomes colorful. All of these little dots of bokeh just added over top. And he is stunned as she gets close. Like a forest nymph. Entangling him. And then he snaps back to it. Snap. Everything is normal. The feel on his hands. Noticing something from below. And the mystery is solved. Lots of movement from foreground to background. Or from background to foreground. Or vice versa. Like this. That would be impressive from any other studio in just about any other show. It'd be like, oh, that's an impressive cut. Here, it's just kind of bland. It's kind of like the lowest end of what the show looks like so far. That's kind of crazy. Kind of insane. All right, so we've got a setup of this building being interesting and weird and old. Don't know what that's going to amount to. And then we have this moment, and then he flashes back to vines and things. Yeah. And here we've got some interesting stuff going on with the layers that are moving. Bit of a parallax effect. Very cool. She's really cute. She's like really cute. Yeah. And then story time in this sort of almost gauche oil paint aesthetic, which I believe is just a filter applied on top of otherwise more normal animation, and is really effective, I think, telling that ghost story and then popping right out of it. Characters are so expressive, but not just with their faces or eyes, their body language as well. And then there is immense effort put into this, for example, for no reason, and a lot of it was on ones, at least the first portion of it. Yeah. Now, things like that are a little bit easier to get references for because you can have somebody sit in front of you and do that with their hand and then draw it. Same thing with drawing hands from your own perspective. You can draw your own hand a little bit more easily than other things. It doesn't make it any less impressive, though. It's fucking impressive. Mystery number 1, tell me that. And again, why is there so much emphasis on the pencil and stuff? Because it's actually relevant to... It's actually kind of relevant to the mystery that's going to be coming about, because he's creating that mystery from whole cloth as he goes. Also, this moment where she just kind of bounces up and down. Excited. Like a little puppy. She's fucking cute. It's too much. It's too much. Lots of shots of random elements of the room. Very interesting. Very cool. It's a very different language of mystery than other... So I would consider Monogatari to be a mystery series in terms of its core storytelling loop. Like, discover weird thing, figure out why it's weird, solve problem. Uses an incredibly different like language, visual language of storytelling than this. Something that's going to be really interesting to think about as we move forward in this show and in that show, having seen so much of that show. But I didn't find it difficult to adapt to this at all. This is it's a little bit more straightforward, I would say, than say Oisin's writing. It's a little bit more comprehensible, a little bit less metaphorical so far. But we've only had the first episode, so I don't know. Again with the angles, Like, again, we're eschewing your classic shot reverse shot for above and over the shoulder, but looking down, and then swap to below and looking over the shoulder from below. And I believe we may have just broken the 180-degree rule in that moment. No, we didn't actually. Interesting. It still has the same effect because we move from... Oh no, it doesn't actually. No, that's entirely within the bounds of a 180-degree rule. Okay, cool. Folding it up. Yes. Down the... Oh, yeah, the down the stair shot. So we get this one going around and down, and then we switch our perspective to down and around the next segment. And that's just showing off. Like, that's just Kyoto Animation showing the fuck off right now. Because, like, they had to foreshorten all of that, including all of the clothing, for no reason. Other than because it's interesting. And then there's this sequence where rose-colored peels itself off of the wall and threatens to overflow and drown him in... What does he say? He says, "I'm overwhelmed by the effort on display." Yeah, the energy expended. Yeah, it shines a light on his own lack of energy expenditure. Not that he considers that a bad thing, but he also doesn't say it with pride, which his friend points out a little bit later. And of course, he finds the place where that is with no clues because he put it there. Brilliant. And of course, he is back to being darkly shaded. They're also doing something that you don't see very often, which is to put a very fine gradient here. You can see there's a very fine gradient, specifically on the side of his face where it's lit. There's this fine gradient from gray down that they're using instead of what anime will often do, which is just shade the entire segment of the eyes flat. It's unique, and it looks really good. Lots of scenes of muted color with little splashes of more vibrancy. Very cool. Especially in the eyes and objects being held and carried. It's almost like spot coloration, really. Very cool. I put it off. Yes, you did. Ta-da! And then there's this ending, which is very salute-worthy. We have not met Second Girl yet. Interested to meet Second Girl, for sure. Very interested to meet Second Girl. And find out more about Eiyuu. Yeah. Okay, just to confirm for my own purposes. Mal Hyouka. Eiyuu is Akari, right? Nope. Nope, entirely wrong. She is Ritsu. Wow. Fucking super wrong. Okay. It's Ai Kayano. Oh. Totally didn't recognize her. Huh. I suck at this. I really suck at recognizing voice actors. It's like the worst. I'm super bad at it. Okay, so. How much have I oh, we're well over an hour now. Okay. And it is past 5 p.m. Okay, I'm gonna call it for this reaction. We had a lot to talk about here. Lots of interesting things in the design. Some cool mystery solving. I am wondering whether this show will be a serial or a procedural. Serial being an ongoing singular storyline that develops over time. Procedural being like more self-contained mysteries that are then like gone through and figured out and dealt with. Hard to tell this early in because this was a procedural type of episode, but that makes sense for introducing characters. And I don't know whether it will follow that format or not, or if it's an ongoing story. I mean, regardless, we're going to have the same characters throughout the show, I'm sure, and they will experience development and interesting things over the course of the show, for sure. But I'm just interested in what the format of the mystery storytelling is going to be. Yeah, just intrigued by that and curious. Hey, okay. Also, lots of little lines that speak to more under the surface here. The two that stand out to me are I have personal reasons for joining the club, I believe. And the second one being I'm just a database from Best Friendo Bro. I wonder what he means by that. Also interested in any explanation or boundaries, like what are the limitations of her really good memory? Like, are we talking about a true photographic memory or an eidetic memory or just a really good memory? Don't know. Don't know. Am interested to find out. All in all, this was really fantastically directed, I would say. Really fantastically animated where it counted and where it didn't because they can. God damn it, KyoAni. And really beautiful show just from the first episode. Really love the color palette. Love these character designs. They speak volumes, and I'm interested to seeing these characters interact more and meet this next character. Ah, fuck it. Let's watch the next one. Fuck it. Fuck it. It doesn't matter. Let's watch the next one. I'm gonna take a like 30-second break to do a timer thing so that I can sync up all the tracks. And then we will watch one more episode because I don't have anything better to do. So, just gonna drop those notes over there and get another page of notes up. And I'm gonna run a syncy thing, so I will see you in a moment. Then we'll be back for episode 2. All right, we are ready to go for episode 2. Main reason here being that I want to meet the other girl, and I have a feeling that these two first episodes are kind of both the character establishment episodes, which makes a lot of sense. So let's do that. See what our dynamic going forward might be, and get even more of a feel for this show. I really liked episode 1. I figure I'll probably like episode 2. So, multiple versions, picture-in-picture version, timer-based version, yada yada yada. If you're using the timer-based version, get your copy ready because the beep beep timer is coming at ya. That's pretty. Mmm. Mmm. Sister. Satsuki Yukino. I know her voice from somewhere. Is she... Nope. I don't know her voice. Okay, whatever. I have to pay attention. Ah. True. Color into a colorless world. Mm. Okay, a month later. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Houkago tea time. Mm. Hmm. What you reading? It's got peppers all over it. Oh yeah, tea time. Yeah. Mm. The room. This room. Oh, the time. Okay. Again. All right, Haruhi. Sounds like a lot of work. Yeah. An anthology of what? Oh, why? We have a supervisor? Invading, invading, invading. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Mendokusai. That's far. Oh. Oh. Because we can. Oh. Fucking hell. This is gonna be. Oh, it's girl. I really like her immediately. She's got Hibike hair. Haven't seen her eyes close up yet. Knowing how I feel. Oh. Oh. Most Hibike shaped eyes, but Hibike hair. An anthology of what? Hmm. 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 Manga Society. All right, out of here. And again, moving background to foreground. Curiosity. A little bit. Mm. Mm. Are there special rules? Oh, so why is it being returned every week? Oh God! Oh no! She said the words. Uh-huh. Oh, she's the cutest. Okay. Jesus. Mm. Mm-mm. Hmm. Photocopies? Research. Seeking some specific piece of information. Given the setup so far, we probably already have all of the information. We probably already have all the information we need. Seems unlikely. Seems more likely. No, that's stupid. Yeah. Sure. Sure. Hmm. You wanna bet? Hmm. Totally. What do you got? Girls' bathroom? Phrasing. Oh, whoa. Gray horse or rose-colored horse? Hmm. Wow. Nope. Yeah, nope. Wow, that foreshortening. I mean, any color you want as long as it's rose-colored. Mm-hmm. Extremely. Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so smug. Ooh, bass. Sound stand up. These little animations are so cool. Locker room. But to what end? Oh, paint. Paint thinner. They're using it to hold things down? Oh. Oh. Yeah, you're gonna have to explain, but you can't. He's actually kind of smart in certain ways. Ah, that's really weird. Except for your ability to put things together. That's dangerous. Yeah, that's dangerous. Please don't. But putting them together. Hmm. Nope. That seems like it's related to the personal reasons. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Why not? Hmm. Why do I feel like she's lying? Oh, so again with that, yeah. God damn it. Grr. To reveal what's up. A real mystery she wants solved. It's a lot of clocks. Oh. She ran here? Daijoubu. どうして? I don't think so. Wonder what it could be. Ooh, the fine gradient at the edges. That's kind of cool. Ah, Chikai. A descendant of the Classics Club and her reasons. Well, that's unfortunate because that means it's a big-ass cliffhanger. That's okay. That's okay. 2 is definitely the maximum we're going for this one. Okay. 1 month later, Personal Matter, again and again. Publish an anthology, neat. Ibara is the name of the other girl, cool. And Oreki-san might be able to ... It's the big mystery right now is what does she want him for? I assume that she has some mystery that she wants solved, that she has been trying to solve, and doesn't understand the reasons for. The title here, A Descendant of the Classics Club and Her Reason, makes me think that it's related to that. Like, I don't know, like, why is the club no longer active? Something like that. I don't know. Because he is also a descendant of the Classics Club to an extent. Interesting. Interesting. Well, this was a very cool episode. There were a couple of things that definitely stood out. The first thing, just because I did it on all the characters in the last one, would be her eyes, which we don't see in a like more direct close-up until a bit later in the episode, when we can get a better idea of what the shape of her eyes is, and they're much more standard, almost symmetrical top to bottom, and they don't have the same high arch that Eiyuu. Eiyuu? Eiyuu has. Yeah, much more standard, but also a very, very interesting maroonish purple color. Very cool. Also, Hibike hair. Very cute. Where's the moment where she pulls him back? Okay, yeah, so there's this moment where we get another background to foreground movement from him. This is kind of nuts. Yeah, kind of nuts. Wobble. With things going on in the background. And then there's a moment where she pulls him, yanks him back in. We've already heard the mystery by this point, I think. He tries to walk away. There are these awesome sequences inside his head, which are fantastic. Just like a dog. Very cute. There's this whole moment, which is freaking amazing. Oh, is it right before that? Then we should go together. Right. Okay. This whole moment. And then there's the foreshortening of once his hand is out. Here. Yeah. We recommend this one highly. You have no choice. Creepy, but amazing. Okay, where's the scene where she pulls him back? It was super high energy and like really awesome. I don't know where it was. Gonna go at super speed. Okay, sniff, 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 like a puppy, like a dog. Very cute, ultra cute. Pulls him away. Is it not? Is it not here? It's not here. Okay, what the fuck? Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Loom, 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 loom. Very cute. I don't know where it was. Okay, give me a minute. I'm just gonna cut and I'm gonna go through the whole episode until I find it. Okay. Okay, found it. Here it is. This cut. Walk, walk, walk. Grab, yank, and then and then brighten, brighten, brighten as he just flops around like a rag doll behind her and is yanked back. That's awesome. That's so great. There's so much personality in all of their actions. It's fantastic. And then there are the in-head bits for him as he kind of mechanically goes through the possibilities. These are all fantastic and really creative, really interesting. I love them as visualizations. Just awesome. And a relatively simple mystery. Why are they checking it out every week? To draw it in their pictures because it looks real good. As a cool book for a study. Perfect. And then we are building this mystery around her and building this distance self-imposed between him and everyone else. Very interesting. And then in very much the same way that the janitor scene is interesting because it feels like it's part of a setup and like it draws attention. The fact that we follow this frame and watch her walk out makes it seem like she's either lying or the fact that she doesn't believe that there's anything from the classes club in the archive is suspicious or strange. Now, this cafe is really interesting. Why all of these various different clocks on all the walls? I don't know. It's weird and interesting. Once she gets here, the clocks come out of the scene. Clickety clack. And then they're gone. The only ticking that we have is her playing with her spoon and not drinking. Which is interesting and odd. Judiciously following the 180-degree rule. And we're about to find out what it is, but we're not going to find out right now. Because I need to stop this reaction. This was another cool episode. One self-contained mystery, and then one thing that goes and spills over into the next episode. Seems like we're building up to like the reveal of something that will spiral us into an arc, and maybe force Oriki to like make a choice about what he actually wants to do with his time in school at the moment, and whether conserving energy is worth it when weighed against something important to her. That seems like what we're building to. All in all, for an introductory 2 episodes and the introduction of the 4 characters that appear in the OP, this was really cool. There's lots of creative visual stuff going on. All of it backed by really stellar visual and just aesthetic design and some really amazing animation. Fantastic and oozing impressiveness. some of that impressiveness doesn't really serve the purposes of the show very much though. Like it's there and it's cool and it's gorgeous to look at, but what's it for? I know that's a weird thing to ask in a visual medium where part of the art of it is just making art and displaying it. But I'm thinking about this in the context of Liz and the Bluebird, which is a film where I think that every shot and every scene is structured and animated in order to convey something specific. This has a little bit less of that. It's still conveying what it wants to convey stellarly so far, I think, but there's a lot of extra stuff here that feels like it's cake icing. It's sweet and it's tasty and it's pretty to look at, but it's not the cake of the cake. It's maybe even a little bit excessive. Um, but I really like it, so I don't care. I like my cake real sweet. Cool. All in all, really solid couple of episodes, and I'm interested and hooked to see where this is going. If this were an airing show on a treasure hunt week, I would be talking about, oh, this is probably gonna be the anime of the season, because look at it. Just look at it. The amount of effort and the layers of color and design and shading and everything, and then the fact that all of those are animated frequently, impressively, is just stellar, just awesome to look at. So let's wrap this up. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Hyouka, episodes 1 and 2. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope you'll come along on this little journey with me and see where this show is going, or see it again if it's your second time watching. Either way, I am going to bow out for the week, and we will return to Hyouka episode 3 next week. See you there. Peace.